put in many long hours and late nights. I was with you all the way, by the way, because although I wasn't there, I was harassing everybody on the telephone. Mika, what's happening? Sandro, what's happening? Tito Sen, what's happening? Bing!
O nanggaling na ho mismo kay Marcos Jr. yan. Talagang nakikialam siya sa BICAM. Tapos yan, pagka nagkandaleche-leche, ang may kasalanan, mga congressman at senador, palakpakan ho natin ang bangag. Pero bago ho yan, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan at sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community. Yung join button, nandyan lang ho sa baba. Dito sa video na to, i-debunk mismo nitong si Marcos Jr. yung mga kasinungalingan nitong si Auntie Claire na kesyo sole prerogative daw ng legislative ang pagbalangkas ng budget o ang usaping budget. Walang kinalaman ng executive. Pero dito sa video na to, inamin mismo ni Marcos Jr. walang humpay ang tawag niya dito kay Tuta Soto, kay Sandro, kay Mika, kay Ping Lacson, lahat ng merong say dyan sa House of Representatives at Senado. Heto na ho, rekta ho tayo sa pagpapakilala netong si Ralph Recto dito kay Marcos Jr. Game!
Marcos Jr.
Nako. Ito ho ang ito ho yung tagpo na kung saan pinirmahan na ho nitong si Marcos Jr. ang 2026 budget. Ikinuwento niya ho kung paano siya nakialam sa proseso ng BICAM. Ikinuwento niya ho kung paano niya kinulit yung mga congressman at senador at talagang nakibalita ho siya kung ano nang lagay ng budget ng mga magnanakaw sa 2026 ngayong taong 2026. Bihira yan.
Thank you very much to our Executive Secretary Ralph Recto, for your kind introduction. And may I add, for all the work, please be seated, well, for all the work that you, amongst, of course, others, have put into finding a middle course between all the different forces that were impinging upon the budget. So that we must recognize. Also, the Senate President Tito Soto, the honorable members of the Senate, who also put in many long hours and late nights. I was with you all the way, by the way, because although I wasn't there.
Teka lang kung nagtataka kayo bakit nakatingin sa atin itong si Terry Redon, susupalpalin ho natin siya dito sa video na to. Kaya ngayon pa lang masama na tingin niya sa atin. Kalma ka lang, Brad. Magpapang-abot tayo. Kalma ka lang dyan, Mamaya ka. Papasadahan ko muna to si Marcos Jr. tapos pupunta ako sa iyo, Decentibano. Huwag ka
I
muna.
was harassing everybody.
Na. Ulitin natin. Na-distract si Marcos Jr. Game.
Nights. I was with you all the way, by the way, because although I wasn't there, I was harassing everybody on the telephone. Mika, what's happening? Sandro, what's happening? Tito Sen, what's happening? Bing!
Lang yan. Tapos pagka nagkandaleche-leche, may kasalanan, senador at congressman. Palakpakan ho natin ang AJIC. Pambihira, oo. Mantakin nyo yun. Walang umpayo palang pagtawag niya, hinaharas niya si Mika, si Sandro, si Ping Lacson, si Tuta Soto, kaugnay sa status ng BICAM. Walang yan. Akala ko ba sinasabi ni Auntie Claire di sila nakikialam dyan? Dahil sole prerogative ng Legislative Department, yung BICAM na yan. Anong ginagawa nitong AJIC na to sa kakatawag during BICAM sa mga leader ng Committee on Appropriation at Finance Committee dyan sa Senado? Actually, di nga Finance Committee Senate President at Senate President pro tempore lang naman ang kausap nitong si AJIC habang nagbabaykam, yang mga walang yan sa Malacanang. Kahit ano pa ho palang kontra nitong si Loren Legarda, anak ng toko, di ka pala makakakana dyan. Kung anong inutos kay Mika at dito kay Sandro, yun dapat ang masunod. Kung ano ang gusto ng hari, hindi pwedeng mabali. Ganon na ganon ho ang sinabi ni Zaldico. Kaya ngayon, sa 2025 budget, ganon na ganon din ho ang ating nasasaksihan kung paano nila lukuhin ng buong sambayanan.
What's happening?
Talaga, no?
That's much appreciated. Of course, the House Speaker, Bojidi, the honorable members of the House of Representatives, Budget and Management Acting Secretary Rolando Toledo, the members of the cabinet who, although attempted to have a Christmas and New Year's holiday, we're all on tenterhooks to see what the budget would actually come out as. That is how important the work that you have just done is. My fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The year 2025 tested our nation on many fronts. We experienced climate-related disruptions, earthquakes, economic uncertainty, and the exposure of widespread corruption within our system. These challenges are painful, but they also made one thing clear: real change could no longer wait. And so as we enter this year, let us take this opportunity to start moving forward with difficult but needed reforms in governance, to rebuild the trust in us, to strengthen accountability,
Nako.
deliver an
Okay sana yan kung ano kung yung mga banat mo na yan, yung patatalumpati mo na yan, okay lang sana kung meron kami nakikita resulta. Anak ng toka, 3 taon na ho kayong nag-i-English dyan sa Malacanang, walang nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Ayaw nyo pa ho bang mag-alsa balutan at umuwi na ng Ilocos Norte at magpa-hair follicle test o di naman ho kaya magpa-rehab na? Tapos yung asawa mo, langyang yan, luy-luy na. Ano natin yon. Problema na nila yon. Huwag na natin pakialaman yon. Kahit umabot pa hanggang sa lupa yung busoy-soy nitong si Lisa Araneta Marcos, wala tayong pakialam dyan. Kaso ang sagwa nga lang kung tignan talaga, no? Mantakin nyo hanggang tuhod na yung busoy-soy niya.
honest and effective government to the Filipinos. We are at a critical juncture in the implementation of this administration's medium-term development plan.
Critical juncture. Meron pa nalalaman pa critical juncture. 1 taon na lang, tapos ka na. Anong critical juncture? Raulo.
And on the cusp of sweeping reforms in politics and in governance. The 2026 General Appropriations Act is a vital component in all of these.
Para kay Kara David kung sakaling nagnunube na ka man gabi-gabi, special mention mo tong mama na to, walang yan. Hoy Kara David, pakiusap ko lang sa'yo ha, kung sakaling nagnunubi na ka man gabi-gabi at nagro-rosaryo ng nakaluhod papunta sa inyong altar, special mention mo tong mama na to. Kasi parang, ilang pa lang naman ang ika nga tinalaban nung mo, wish mo eh. Itong isa na to, dapat ito na talaga sumunod eh. Sumunod sa mga magiging healthy, kayo naman
With the signing of Republic Act number 12314, or the General Appropriations Act of fiscal year 2026, we are committing to implement a budget that serves the people, totaling 6.793 trillion pesos. The national budget is aligned with our medium and long-term development plans and vision, reflecting our investment in the Filipino. We thank all members of Congress for the principled exercise of its power, all of the purse, and for the meaningful reforms undertaken to widen participation, to strengthen accountability throughout the budget authorization process. And yet, the passage of the national budget is only the beginning, because today we commence with the most difficult task, to ensure the proper execution and instituting true accountability. The 2026 national budget shall sustain our momentum in education reform, in health protection, in food security, in social security, and in job creation. Education receives the highest allocation, amounting to over 1.34 trillion pesos. This shall support the creation of teaching, non-teaching plantilla positions in public schools and the promotion or reclassification of our teachers to ensure quality teaching and learning. This shall also fund the construction of classrooms nationwide. The 2026 GAA also has the largest health sector budget ever in the history of our country, 448.125 billion pesos, supporting our goal of promoting access to universal health care. This will ensure that quality and affordable health care is available to every Filipino. 1 billion pesos has also been allocated to the Department of Health's Universal Health Care Fund for this zero balance billing program in local government hospitals as well, covering inpatient services in basic accommodation. The budget also allocates resources for disease surveillance, rapid response mechanisms, and sustainable health financing. This budget further strengthens the PhilHealth with nearly 129.8 billion pesos, including the 60 billion pesos directed to be restored, aligned with the decision of the Supreme Court. These funds shall support preventive health care and the
Yan.
improvement of PhilHealth.
Kaya pala mayat maya mayroong presko ng mga ahensya ng pamahalaan kasi hindi na effective yung pagbabardagol nitong yan. Hindi nakakatulong yung pagiging bardagol nitong si Auntie Claire, di ba? Kaya ngayon, mga ahensya ng pamahalaan, yung nagsasalita sa bawat presko nila dyan sa Malacanang. Kasi walang kwenta yung mga sinasabi ni Auntie Claire eh. Kasi kung effective si Auntie Claire, ramdam na rin niya eh. Wala nang kwenta yung mga pinagsasabi niya, hindi tumataas ang approval at trust rating. Kasi kung yung mga sinasabi niya ay merong epekto kay Marcos Jr., kahit lang sana yung trust rating mapanatili doon sa estado na kung saan bago dumating tong dilubyo na to sa administrasyon. Yun nga yung mga maanumalyang flood control. Kaso ho, ang problema dito mga kababayan, pagka ibinato yung mga maanumalyang flood control, ang isasagot ni Auntie Claire, Polo Duterte, Sara Duterte, dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ngayon, anong nangyari? Negative 27 ang suma ng approval trust rating nitong si Marcos Jr. Palakpakan. Kaya ako pakiusap ko kung sakaling tanggalin itong si Auntie Claire, isa ho tayo sa magpuprotesta at talagang mananawagan na huwag tanggalin yung alin na yan.
Benefit packages, lowering the out-of-pocket expenses of Filipino families. On the other hand, the agricultural sector receives over 297 billion pesos, solidifying our commitment to modernizing supply systems and supporting farmers and fisherfolk. Crucial investments in farm-to-market roads will connect farming communities to economic hubs, reduce transportation costs.
Yan na ho yung mga farm-to-pocket road ng mga congressman dahil wala nang mga flood control. Dinala ho nila yung porsyento nila na kung dati nasa mga flood control, linagay ho nila ngayon sa farm-to-pocket road para dire-diretso na nga naman, di ba?
Costs and minimize post-harvest losses. We will also transform our social protection system, moving beyond short-term relief to address systemic vulnerabilities and to promote sustained inclusive growth. Supporting this, the social services sector is provided with more than 270 billion pesos. We will prioritize social services that enhance the quality of life of every Filipino, safeguard the welfare of all sectors, and foster human capital development. Through our responsive and rationalized flagship programs, this budget aims to steer us towards achieving a single-digit poverty rate by 2028. The 2026 national budget also supports the implementation of the updated base pay schedule and increased subsistence allowance of military and uniformed personnel. This underscores our commitment to uphold the welfare of the men and women who safeguard our nation. As our uniformed personnel protect our territory, so we shall also serve as vanguards of public funds, ensuring the prudent use of every peso. We will strictly implement the provision on the prohibition of political involvement in the distribution of cash and other forms of financial assistance. Politicians shall be barred from the distribution of any financial aid, and we shall ensure that the support reaches the intended beneficiaries without patronage.
Nako! Bar daw, hindi daw pwede na yung mga politiko isasama sa distribution ng mga ayuda. Ano to? Hoy, Ajik, ano to? Ano yan? Anak ng toka, ano yan? Walang yaka ha? Bida ka ng bida. Ayan AKAP payout. Kanino mukha nandyan? Huwag mo kaming inuuror ha? Hoy! Niloloko mo kami. Yan ang ayaw na sambayan ng Pilipino, Brad. Dinuloko mo kami. Sinasabi ho niya yung mga politiko daw pagdating dito sa mga mga ayuda-ayuda dapat hindi pwedeng umepal. Di ba? Yung patronage politics, hindi daw pwede yan. Di ba? Kasi matatatak na sa mukha isip ng ating mga kababayan, sino ba ang nagbigay sa ayuda na to? Yun eh. Kanino ba mukha to, Brad? Di ba? Yung sinasabi mo, iba sa ginagawa mo. Ngayon, kung galit ka talaga dyan sa pamimigay ng ayuda na yan, na kung saan ibinabandera yung pagmumuka ng mga politiko, ano yan? Ang matindi ho dito mga kababayan, hindi pa ho yan ang malala. Ika nga, yan ho pinaka-mild sa lahat ng kabalbalan na ginagawa nitong si Bangag ngayong mga panahon na to. Ang pinakamatindi ho dito mga kababayan, alam nyo ho ba kung ano? Alam nyo ho ba? O, kung hindi nyo alam, ito. Di na niya project, inaangking pa niya. Yun ang matindi doon. Ganon katindi ang kabangagan nito. Hindi lang ho yung pamimigay ng ayuda na kung saan hindi naman sa kanya pera, at pinipresenta nila sarili nila na dapat sila pasalamatan ng tao. Ang pinakamatindi ho dito, hindi na nila proyekto, ninanakaw pa nila. Kaya katindi ho yung mama na yan. Kaya kung ano man lumabas ang bunganga nitong si Marcos Jr., nasa mga kababayan na ho natin yan kung paano nila tatanggapin niya. Kasi kung tayo lang naman dito sa PH update, di na ho tayo di na ho tayo mabubula ng bangag na yan. Anong to ko? Imposible na. Ito talaga sigurado, not in a million years na mga kasama natin dito sa PH Update. Ako baka pagka merong inendorso to tapos sinama niya sa caravan, baka pagbabatuhin ng mga kamatis at tag dito, itlog na bulok, itlog na bugok yung mama na yan di ba? Yung kakaraban nila Hindi na kagaya ng 2022 to Brad. Ngayon pa lang magpapabaho na ako ng itlog. Kung sino man ang maging kandidato mo, anak ng toka. Hindi, ilalaga ko yan, di ba? Ipapakulo natin yan. Penoy yan. Papakain natin sa kanila. Nagbabato. Kamatis lang na bulok yan. Di ba? Doon sa sasakyan. Di na, walang nga ka, magnanakaw kayo, mga sinungaling kayo. Build better war. Walang nangyari sa Pilipinas. Sabi nyo, magiging 20 pesos ang bigas. Hindi makakapasok ang ICC. Tuloy-tuloy ang war on drugs. Anak ng toka, ikaw ayaw magpa-hair follicle. Ang daming sama ng loob ang kinikimkim namin ngayong mga panahon na to, Bangag. Alam mo ba yan? Nasa kapangyarihan ka lang kaya hindi kami makapag-all out. At napakarami mong troll sa social media, Brad. Mamihira yan. Dami mong trolls. Magkano bayad sa mga yan?
Walang bawas, walang kulang. We will also strengthen the role of local government units to the increased allocations under the Local Government Support Fund.
Okay na. Tama na yung pambubola mo, ha? Hindi na bebenta yan. Matagal ko nang gustong banatan itong si ang pangalan ito? Isa pa to sa mga Apple Itong Bicol Saru na to, yung party list. Ayusin mo pakikinig. Okay, yung party list ang merong insertion, hindi ikaw. Yung nire-representa mong party list, tereredon. Ganyan ba talaga pagka dating kabataan party list? Mahina umintindi. Pakinggan ho natin ito mga kababayan. Game.
Committee. Nakapag-usap na rin po ba kayo sa kanya? Sino-sino po yung magiging miyembro natin from the House? And
Teka lang, ano na palang nangyari dun sa Dolomite Beach? Dolomite investigation. Ano nangyari dun? Inuuna kasi yabang. Mahirap po yan. Kaya hindi tayo nagyayabang. Kumbaga, darating. Di ba? Wala tayong marami sinasabi rito. Pero sigurado, si VP Sara magiging presidente sa 2028. Palak pa. Yun lang ang ating sisiguraduhin dito. At yun lang ang sigurado nating mangyayari dito.
paano po yung magiging system, kumbaga?
Well, I think the lead for the Joint Oversight Committee would be the chairs of the Finance Committee in the Senate and the Appropriations Committee in the House. So I think the House will have their own contingent for this. So probably around 7 members and with minority membership. Ganun din po sa level of the Senate. Siyempre, that is the Joint Oversight Committee. Pero nothing precludes both the Senate and the House from having their own oversight. So for example, very specific naman ho yung mandate of the Public Accounts Committee, basically to really look into public expenditure. So it's something that we would want to undertake independently and separately of the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on Public Expenditure. Hindi ko alam. We have to wait for the leadership to basically convene it. Oh, yeah. Go.
Sir, kahapon may statement si... I'm not sure kung si Counting ngayon or... I think, Sir Makabayan, may statement kahapon regarding that joint congressional oversight na parang sinasabi nila we shouldn't put much credence on this joint committee kasi how will the lawmakers o parang kumbaga do oversight over the allocables na sila rin naman yung naglagay or makikinabang. I mean, for their own districts. What are your thoughts on this, sir? Parang hindi ba imposible ba na ma-oversight ng mga lawmakers yung budget?
Well, I think, I understand what they are trying to say, no? And that is the same principle as to why we had opted not to proceed at this point, no? With flood control hearings. Pero I think we have to look at the composition of the Joint Oversight Committee as well. Kasi hindi lang naman House members yan which have their own districts. And kasama din ho dyan yung Senado. So kumbaga, tingin ko, kaya naman ho tignan pa rin po yung mga allocables ng mga distrito, even if you have that joint congressional oversight committee. But I think more importantly, hindi lang naman po tungkol sa infrastructure yung pinag-uusapan on congressional oversight, but the entirety of public expenditures. No? So I think it's very important that we proceed with it with that particular point in mind. Na siyempre, there is, I think what the specific term yesterday was, they have vested interests in the infrastructure projects, particularly House members who are district congressmen. No? Pero I think if you have representation there naman po na party list members and senators, I think that serves as a balancing mechanism doon po sa sinasabi po nila na vested interests in public infrastructure for the districts.
Kung eto may nakarating sa akin, may nakarating sa akin daw na right now daw parang wala daw congressman na nag-attend sa ICI hearing kasi daw meron daw budget for pushing the impeachment of the Vice President this 2026. And inaalis din ni Senator Amy Marcos na yung budget daw ay quote-unquote giniling para sa impeachment ni VP. Any thoughts on the allegations na itong budget na ito is going to fund again another possible impeachment move to the Vice President?
Well, una sa lahat, hindi ko masyadong gets yung intersectionality nung pong non-appearance ng mga kong sa supposed moves to impeach the Vice President on the basis of additional funding for 2026. No? So tingin ko, para magkaibang bagay po yun and we shouldn't conflate it. And more importantly, I don't think it's accurate to say that no one actually went to the ICI proceedings because as far as I remember, Majority Leader Sandro Marcos was there, Congressman Nicky Briones was there, and several other.
Grabe, kapal ho ng mukha, no? Kapal ho ng mukha nitong administrasyon na to. Mantag yung presidente ka, si Tatay Digong hindi niya ho ginawa yan. Hindi niya ho ginawa na yung si Congressman Pulong siya maging majority leader, kahit deputy majority leader, wala sa pamilya nila. Ano sabi ni Tatay Digong? Presidente na ako, tapos anak ko magiging official diyan sa House of Representatives. Hindi niya ho ginawa yan. Di ba? Ang sinong ginawa niya? Bebot Alvarez. Sino? Lord Alan Velasco. Alan Peter Cayetano. Wala ho sa pamilya niya yung nagbida-bida diyan sa House of Representatives. Kaya katangi-tangi itong adik na presidente na to na talagang wala ho silang delikadesa ba? Di ba? Wala ho silang delikadesa. Pagka presidente, dapat yung pinsan nasa House of Representatives. Kung wala naman yung pinsan, dapat yung anak, majority leader. Di ba? Yan.
House members actually attended that particular proceeding. So yun, I think that's the first point that needs to be made. So that is factually incorrect. No? But secondly, Hindi ko lang batayan po para sabihin na there are funds being made available to impeach the Vice President at this point. I think whatever moves that will happen by the 5th of February, by the 6th of February will be undertaken independently of whatever it is that is being alleged. No? Kasi impeachment proceedings naman po are not based on projects that are promised. No?
Di na naman totoo. Anak ng toko. Nasaan yung 7? Palibhasa. Ay, tama nga naman pala. Wala ka pala nung 19th Congress kaya hindi mo alam yung kalakaran. Okay? Di ka kasi nabigyan nung 777. Hindi ka kasi nabigyan noong hindi ka kasi nabigyan noong mga 4-letter release. Kung ikaw ay pipirma. Hindi ka nabigyan nung ano nga kasi pinamigay nila? Taga 100 million daw. Di umano. Noong ikinulong sila sa isang bulwagan at pagkatapos doon pinapirmahan yung yung impeachment laban dito kay VP Sara. Di ba? Oh. Wala ka pa kasi noon. Hindi mo alam kalakaran. Yan ang problema pagka na mahilig magbida-bida.
Impeachment proceedings are based on quests for truth and accountability, particularly on the use of confidential funds. No? So, the basis for the impeachment last year has not changed actually for 2026. So, if House members or civil society would want to file it again as soon as the one-year ban is finished, I think they are free to do so. And I don't think they will be motivated by any promises of any projects for 2026.
Pero kung, of course, nasabi na rin kasi ni Kong Toby last year na yung budget for 2025 was used or parang dinangle daw ng mga for later release dahil daw po sa pagpirma sa impeachment complaint ni PP last year.
Huwag yung tanongin yung si Terry Ridon. Pagdating sa usaping impeachment, ngayon pa lang siya talaga makikinabang. Di ba? Nung 19th Congress, wala naman yun eh. Walang alam yun si Terry.
And of course, hindi natin masabi kung meron din bang ganitong sistema na mangyayari na pag may nagkapirmahan magkakaroon ng FLR. So, are we assured na walang mangyayaring hocus-pocus na naman na mangyayari this coming February 6 if ever man magkaroon man ng impeachment complaint and then pirmahan na naman to dahil may mga dinanggal na mga funds for later release?
Well, again, that's a bit premature to answer kasi there is no impeachment complaint that has been filed as yet. Di ba? So, I don't want to talk about hypotheticals at this point. But yung remark naman po ni Congressman Chanco, I think that is best addressed by him again. No? So, whatever he feels about last year, I haven't been there in the 19th Congress, so I think it is him to get someone else to basically corroborate what he said. No, but you know, like I will retain my original position that impeachment proceedings are based on facts and the evidence that are.
Kung based on facts pala, ano ba naman yung facts na sinabi nitong si Zaldico? Nitong si, ano pangalan nito? Nitong si mga diskaya na nakakulong kasi nagnakaw sila. O kasi maano mali yung mga nakuha nilang project sa pamahalaan o hindi nila dineliver yung karampatang proyekto na dapat na i-deliver nila. Di ba? Sinong tinuturo nilang ika nga kumita? Martin Romualdez. Di pa ba faction? Sinong dinideliveran ng pera? Martin Romualdez. Hindi pa ba faction, hindi pa ba vision para hahinan ng ethics complaint yang si Martin Romualdez sa ethics committee? Hindi pa ba sapat yung sinabi nitong si appropriation chairperson Zaldico na itong si Marcos Jr. dinideliveran ng mali-maliit ang pera na galing sa mga manumalyang flood control project? Hindi pa ba ground yun for impeachment? Betrayal of public trust? Di ba? Matindi ho yung mga kababayan, graft and corruption ho yun. Di ba? Bakit hindi pa siya nakakainan? 125 million? Hindi natin sinasabing hindi mahalaga yon. Pero yung usapin na yon, nasa COA. Nasa COA ho yan. Pero yung usapin kay Marcos Jr., wala ho. Yung kay Martin Romualdez, wala ho. Walang COA walang DOJ o walang ombudsman na magtatangkang kantiin yung issue na yan na magpinsa na ika nga ngayong mga panahon na to sila ho talagang mastermind sa mga kabalbalan sa Pilipinas.
Actually presented. Pero more importantly, I think the more important question that needs to be resolved first and that needs to be asked first would be, what is the status of the motion for reconsideration that had been made by Congress to the Supreme Court? Kasi marami pong mga questions that will be resolved as soon as that gets disposed of by the Supreme Court. No? So hopefully from today up until the 5th of February 2026, the Supreme Court will basically dispose of the matter already. Kasi syempre, pagka it is favorable to the House, it basically would mean that you don't need another impeachment complaint against the Vice President at this point. It basically means that the Senate will have to
Ano pang motion? Huwag nyo nang hintayin yung motion for reconsideration. Ay, abogado ka, di ba? Abogado ba yung si Terry Redon? Overwhelming yung boto ng Korte Suprema na yung ginawa nyo kay Vice President Sara, ginawa pala nung 19th Congress, kay VP Sara, unconstitutional. Yung tipong hinahina ng impeachment complaint, yung kaparehong tao dito sa pangalawa, inahinan na naman, apat na yung unconstitutional. At yung boto ng Korte Suprema, kaugnay doon sa maling ginawa ng House of Representatives noong mga panahon na yun, mahirap nang baliktarin. Well, forget yung motion for reconsideration, basura na yun. Anak ng tawa, kung gusto lang desisyonan nyo ng Korte Suprema, di na paabutin ngayong mga panahon na to. Sige, sinabi ng Korte Suprema na mayroong problema. Unconstitutional. Inapura. 'Di ba? Mali yung napakaraming sinasampang tag dito na impeachment sa loob ng 1 taon. Isa kada 1 taon lamang. Kung sabihin na natin sabihin na natin na mali na sila, tama na kayo na pwede yung ginawa nyo na yon. February na. 'Di ba? Doon lang sa mga justices diyan sa Korte Suprema, ang lalim nun yung mga justices, kahit sa utak lang nila sasabihin nila, ba't pa natin babaliktad ang desisyon natin? Ba't pa natin pagbibigyan yung motion na yan? Sila magbaka dyan. Ayan, yun lang sila maghain ng panibagong impeachment labang kay VP Sara. Ang ganda na ng desisyon natin. Yan na ang magiging basihan sa mga magiging impeachment sa susunod na panahon. Isang impeachment, 1 taon. Tapos ang usapan. 'Di ba? Hayaan na natin sila diyan. Oh. Kasi yung motion for reconsideration para sinabi nitong mga congressman na to, teka lang review niyo na maayos yung na yan. Ito yung sa tingin namin tama at mali yung inyong desisyon diyan sa petition na yan laban sa impeachment nitong si VP Sara. Gusto sa tingin nyo, kung ako Korte Suprema, papayagan ko pa yung kabalbalan na yan ng mga congressman. Maghain kayo ng panibagong impeachment, yung ibinigay naming rules, yung nasa rules yung nasa saligang batas, susundin nyo lang, wala tayong magiging problema. Ganun lang naman
proceed to trial
Talagang
if it is favorable to the House. No? Pero syempre, if it is unfavorable to the House,
kumbaga di mo na kailangan maging intelihente para maintindihan kung anong magiging galaw ng Korte Suprema. I mean, hindi mo na mapangunahan yung mga justices dyan. Matatalino yan. Kaya nga. Pero yung logic na lang, lagay nyo na lang dun sa kung kayo ang nasa posisyon ng mga justices, di ba? Mga mga nasa Korte Suprema, di ba? Mga associate justices. Di ba? Ilagay yung pwesto nyo dun. Pabaligtarin pa ba natin ang desisyon natin? Napakalinaw, yung desisyon natin nakabase sa sa saligang batas. Yung gusto nilang mangyari na magsampa ng paulit-ulit na impeachment, mali talaga yun. Hayaan nyo na, February na rin lang naman, di ba? Maghain na lang sila. Asa ang problema, karamihan nung kasi, imbis na matatalino naman yung mga yan, especially yan, si Terry Redon, matalino yan, taga-UP yan nag-aaral sa kung di ako kakamali ng mga matatalino yung mga yan Di ba? Matatalino yung mga yan. Pero hindi natin malaman pagka nakakatikim na sila ng kaperahan, saan napupunta yung talinong ano nila, yung katalinuhan nila, di ba? Hindi natin alam kung saan nila isinusuksok.
House, the House will have to implement the new rules of impeachment that the Supreme Court wants us to implement. No? So that would have to guide us by the 6th of February pagka nagkaroon po ng new impeachment complaints.
Sir, good morning.
Kenneth muna, Kenneth.
Ay.
Si Lala Nesca muna.
Sir, on
Yan.
sa impeachment,
Ikaw na ini-interview, ikaw pa
just to
moderator.
be
Iba talaga
clear,
itong mga bangag
the
na to.
House will wait for the SC ruling first before deciding
I don't think so.
to pursue another impeachment complaint.
No,
Against the
no,
Vice
I don't
President.
think it's contingent on anything. Hindi ba? Kasi as soon as the ban is finished, has lapsed, I think anyone is free to make what they want to do of that lapsing of the date. No? So, by the 6th of February, if there's a group, a person, private person, House member that wants to file an impeachment, they are free to do so. No? So, syempre, it gives a little bit more complication on how the House will have to proceed. Hindi ba? Pagka hindi pa ho na-resolve yung MR, but, hindi naman natin kontrolado po yung Korte Suprema eh. Di ba? I also cannot make a statement on whether, on how the House will actually proceed. Will it insist on its own rules by the 6th of Feb kung wala pa ho siyang, wala pang resolution niyo po yung MR? I don't know. I think the House will have to decide at that point.
Sir, yung follow-up ko po about the budget. Sir, yung sa kasi we're talking about the safeguards, yung vetoed provisions. Going forward, do you think, sir, that Department of Budget and Management should announce kung merong releases from UA? Kasi as it is, we don't know, di ba nakalista lang yung under UA, and it's up to the President. Pag may sumobrang revenue, it's the President's discretion. Alin dun sa mga nakalista sa UA gets to be funded. It's under dagaan naman. Yun naman yung provision din talaga, even under 2026. So dapat ba, the DBM should announce na we had this excess revenue and this item is funded by this excess revenue because of so and so and so. Yung justification. Bakit kasi, halimbawa, 15 yung nakalista. Diba? Dapat the burden is on the DBM or on the President to justify, halimbawa, yung item number 6 ang pinondohan nung excess revenue under UA.
Well,
Naknanto ka. Meron pala tayong mga excess revenue. Ba't pa tayo nangungutang? Alam mo, di ba? Hindi mo natin maintindihan yun, mga kababayan. Meron pala tayong mga excess revenue. Ba't pa tayo nangungutang? Bakit hindi na lang yung mga excess revenue natin, ang ipantapal natin doon sa mga proyekto na dapat paggagamitan natin ng ating mga pagkakautangan. Ngayon, kung hindi kakayanin ng mga excess revenue, doon tayo umutang. Pero hindi na ganun kalaki, kagaya na itong ginagawa ng administrasyon na to, lahat na lang pinoponduhan. Sa tingin niyo ho ba, yung mga program appropriation na yan, wala pang pondo yung mga yan? Ginagawa pa lang nilang budget, nakaprogram na yung utak ng mga yan. Oh. Sigurado ako, yung ahensya ng DPWH, karamihan dyan, makakasave tayo dyan. Okay? Makakasave tayo dyan. Ngayon, yung masisave natin na yan, doon na natin ilalagay doon sa ating mga nanhawi.
tingin ko wala naman pong problema kung mag-undertake ng transparency measures, no? Yung pong DBM. Kasi anyway, for example, lahat naman po ng mga budget documents nila is being uploaded to their website. Eh. So I don't think we need to have separate rules for yung pong UA implementation as we reach that point. So actually, hindi lang ho siya usapin nung which project it is, no? So they have to be transparent firstly on whether or not excess revenue exists, or second, they have to be transparent also on whether they will have to borrow for these projects to be able for us to be able to fund these particular projects. So yun yung una. So second, saka tayo mag-usap kung ano yung mga projects na actually gusto nilang pondan from this excess revenue or from additional loans that we will undertake during the course of the year.
Thank you, sir.
Kenneth.
Hello. Sir, what mechanisms beyond the monitoring of the bidding process will the committee use to monitor state spending? And will this include congressional hearings po ba?
Hindi, syempre, yun naman po yung main mandate, no, to undertake congressional hearings, no. Pero syempre, higit pa po doon sa mga pagdinig, yung actual pong pagpunta doon sa mga opisina eh. Basically, parang kasama yun doon sa fact-finding mandate, no, para makita natin ano pa talaga itsura ng bidding sa, for example, sa DPWH, sa district level, ano ba yung itsura talaga ng bidding doon sa central office level, no. So, syempre, doon po sa GPPB, for example, ano pa ba yung mga bidding rules na pwede ho nilang magawa? Kasi hindi naman ho lahat kailangan ng new legislation if it's something that the executive can actually undertake on its own para hindi na ho kailangan ng bagong batas, bagong regulasyon na lang. I think mas mabuti yon, di ba? So, for example, at the level po yan ng GPPB and doon po sa level nga ng mga PICAB, hindi ba? Para we have to be able to see sino pa doon yung mga hindi pa natatanggal at nakakapag-operate pa rin po despite them being adversely affected by the flood control scandal last year.
Sir, the Philippines is under a nationwide state of calamity since November. Kasama rito yung parang pag-streamline ng bidding process. How will the committee exercise its oversight functions to ensure na yung bidding process nga is still transparent given na mas madali nga ang procurement under a state of calamity?
Well, syempre, hindi ho pwede talaga na, kahit ho streamlined yung pong bidding processes. For example, yung mga requirements ng track record, doon po sa project implementation, previous project implementation, at financial viability, hindi yun natin dapat bitawan kasi major pillars ho yun eh. Doon sa pagiging tamang entidad eh, nung pong sumasali sa mga bids. No? So, hindi yun natin pwedeng bitawan po yun. So, I think, even if you have like streamlined processes, particularly on periods of like the number of days para matapos po yung mga bids, I think basta in place ho yung most important accountability mechanisms, tuloy lang ho yun.
Okay. And sir, how will the committee monitor nga yung disbursement of unprogrammed appropriations given na hindi nga natin nalalaman if nailabas na yung pondo? How does the committee plan on doing that?
We have to work with the DBM on it, actually. Kasi, totoo yun, meron ho talagang a bit of opacity in the previous use of UA. And I think, and to be fair to the President, basically obliterated na po yung most controversial parts of UA, no? Particularly po yung SAGIP, which had basically been the funding house for infrastructure projects, no? What had only been retained, and for the most part, yung po nga support for foreign assisted projects, no? So, I think, ano naman ho yun, syempre, kailangan pa rin ho natin bantayan, and yung opacity, irrespective of whatever line item it is, kailangan meron pa rin hong a little bit more transparency dito po sa paggamit po nito. At nabanggit ko na yan kanina, hindi ba? Una, more transparency on whether excess funds exist, and secondly, which particular projects will be undertaken in the event that excess funds actually exist. So dapat ma-state ho yun publicly, agad. Hindi yung parang hahabol lang bigla yung tao pagka nagamit na yung pondo.
Okay. And sir, sir, you mentioned na parang kailangan nga ng greater public participation and monitoring pagdating sa state spending. How exactly do you plan on giving organizations nga, mga people's organizations, a chance to monitor state spending and disbursement?
Hindi, syempre, pagka nagpunta kami sa mga opisina ng mga ahensya, we will invite civil society and the public to join also. So, for example, pag may mga dialogue with the agencies on how they do it, no? And kung meron pong mga observing missions, no? Doon po sa mga on yung actual bidding days po nila. Siyempre, invite namin sila to be able to participate.
Okay, sir, and last question. Talon naman ako on the flood control issue.
No,
Sir,
yan
do you
na.
have plans to
Yan ang problema. Yung flood control issue.
resume
Sige.
congressional hearings into the flood control issue given that the ICI nalagasan na nga ng mga miyembro at parang nawawalan na nga ng momentum? Do you have plans?
No, we are still waiting for the president to reappoint. No, that has been the previous call on the president. No, na nag-resign po yung dalawang commissioners to be able, for him to be able to find substitutes already, replacements to the two commissioners that resigned. Kasi syempre, I think the president naman still holds in high regard the ICI. Kaya nga, I mean, kaya ho may priority measure for yung enhanced, empowered ICI. Ibig sabihin, I think the president understands na mahalaga po yung papel nito doon po sa mga corruption issues po na kinakaharap sa infrastruktura. So, for as long as, and like what I previously stated, for as long as the ICI subsists, we will remain indefinitely suspended.
Sir, last, sorry. Sir, what conditions would press the committee to continue its congressional hearings po? May mga conditions bang tinitignan?
No, well, wala naman. Pero again, the general rule on the indefinite suspension is for as long as the ICI actually subsists, no? Nagtutuloy ho siya. Or until, I guess, it becomes an actual law. An enhanced ICI, naka-indefinitely suspended po yung House. But, for example, on other matters na non-DPWH, for example, yung mga super health centers, yung pong farm-to-market roads, yung pong school buildings, ano naman ho yun I think generally separate po yun doon sa flood control. We will decide and get advice from the Rules Committee kung if we can undertake hearings po on these particular entirely separate infrastructure projects.
Kung lighter note, ngayon yung release ng bar exam results, anong message mo sa mga future na abogado na mapapasa and dun sa mga...
Ako na. Wala namang kwenta sasabihin yan. Ako na magbibigay ng advice sa mga bagong pa sa mga abogado. Kahit na di tayo abogado, mas maganda naman sasabihin natin yan kay Terry Redon. Ang gawin nyo lang, maging alagad kayo ng batas. Huwag kayong maging alagad ng pera. Huwag kayong magpasailalim sa kapangyarihan ng mga magnanakaw sa politika. Yun lang. Sa gayong gagawin nyo sa inyong pagiging abogado, sigurado malaking may tutulong nyo sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Diba? Ano yan isa ho yan sa mga, kumbaga, pagiging doktor, pagiging abogado. Yan ho yung mga propesyon na talagang pagka dinedicate mo ang buhay mo para makatulong, talagang marami kang matutulungan dyan, di ba? Pero pagka gusto mo lang magparami ng pera, talagang malaki, yayaman ka naman talaga. Maraming salamat po mga kababayan, mag-ingat po kayo lahat. Hindi lahat na sinasabi ni Terry Redon, dapat niyang paniwalaan. Kalahati ho yan, galing ho yan kay Martin Romualdez. Salamat.